sacred code is supernatural and cosmic. It bridges starseed origins, galactic contact, and remembrance. DNA activation, soul memory, psychic development, intuition, timeline shifting, and manifestation, ancient wisdom, modern consciousness, and real world embodiment. It's where the supernatural becomes natural again. It's not fantasy, not an escape, but as a powerful tool to be used, as a powerful truth to be understood. The reason you are called here is not because you're here to follow. You're here to remember who you are. Your soul carries a code. This space simply helps you unlock them safely, clearly, and powerfully. You're not broken, and you're not late. You're not imagining it. You're remembering. Welcome to the Sacred Code.
Oh.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
Hi, Mary and Mark and Dana.
Hello.
So good to see you all.
It's great to see all of you. I missed you guys so much.
Oh, we miss you too. I'm glad you got your sound fixed.
Yeah, my headphones were still connected to the last lobby, so I had to exit out of that one and get into this one. I'm like, and even after we did it, it still doesn't work. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I had to exit and try again. But we're all good now.
It sounds a little funny. Either that or maybe my...
Yeah, it sounds a little
odd.
little twinky. Like a
Little, like you're calling from a tin can.
yeah.
I'll try and take my headphones out. My phone is really quiet though, so hold on.
I don't have anything fancy. I have headphones. I don't have anything.
So this is like a new episode that we're doing. And I know I'm really excited about it. Do you want to explain it a little bit, Mary?
Yeah, we decided to use this week of the Sacred Code episodes to talk about our contact experiences, because I think all of us in some shape or form have had contact, but it's all in different ways. You know, for me, it's always been spiritual. I can never say that I've had direct physical contact, but there's other people who hold on to fear, and there's other people who, you know, believe that they work directly with them. So we wanted to just use this episode this week for experiencers so they could all share their tales of contact, so we could all see just how different it is. And so bless Dana, we love her. She has agreed to share her story. And I'm not going to lie, I secretly did this so I could finally hear her story. It was a little bit of a trick. But
like
so
I didn't know that in psychic.
Yeah.
Like how far back do you want me to go? Because I have to nutshell it. I don't want to.
It's your story to tell.
Yeah, it's your story to tell. Wherever you want to
And
go.
really, it goes way back, Dana. So
it goes way back. I would say I didn't always put it together like I do now. That's only been probably the last 10 years, maybe like 3 or 4 years for some of the stuff that's gone on. But my dad was an experiencer. My dad did not believe in, and I think I've talked about this off and on at certain conferences, but my dad did not believe in anything that I do currently. But he had me in the house. So, you know, this stuff started for me. All of it started when I was like 3 that I remember. I can remember being 3. Yes, it's true. But my dad was in the Marines, and I didn't know this until I knew he was in the Marines, but I didn't know his whole story till I was in high school, and I had to ask him where Kennedy was shot. That's when I found out he was JFK's presidential guard.
Wow.
Mass with JFK. He was big in my dad was Irish Catholic, so not shocking that I don't know. I still don't know a lot about that because he never talked about it, like ever. Very, very few and far between. But I've got pictures and stuff, real mimeographs that smelled like chemicals and stuff that they used to make way back in the day.
wow.
my dad had kept all of that from like Camp David and stuff where he was stationed and then all their code names back then of the first lady. And it's wild. It's wild.
No.
My dad had that history because he never talked about it. Anyway, but as he was kind of starting to talk about that, we had pictures of him when he was a Marine. He was part of his stuff as he was going across the Mediterranean Sea. He spent time in Greece, spent time in Italy, all along that area. This is before I think he was at the White House. But he was on a ship in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. He told us at the dinner table, I remember distinctly because we were having macaroni and cheese that night. Everything attaches to food for me. But anyway, he it's so weird. Anyway, I can still see his face when he was talking about it. He was there, and there's how many other ones on the ship? Hundreds of guys, if not more. I don't know how many a ship holds. But anyway, there was a cigar-shaped craft above their ship for like 30 minutes. It was like it moved with them. And they were all like, everybody saw it, of course. And my dad was just like, never believed in anything like that. That was his aha moment that I know of. I don't know if there was stuff from before that because he never talked about that stuff.
Right.
It was enough of a big deal that apparently there was a debriefing for them because they weren't supposed to like discuss it. But I grew up with books in the house that now as an adult is strange. As a kid, it was like, whatever is he reading? Who cares? But the Manhattan Project and all of those weird 1960s stuff. My dad had the books, and that's why. It was because I think that might have happened in the 50s because he graduated from school, I think 57, and he went right into the Marine Corps, and that was before he went with Kennedy, which was I don't know what years, but whatever. Long story short, started with my dad.
Can I ask one thing?
I want to ask you a couple of things. Go ahead.
So, with all this being said, your dad sounds absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, you
Love
never
to
would
sit
know
and
it
talk
though.
to
Because
him.
never talked about it.
Right. But now I'm wondering if he knew Morse code.
Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh.
I'm betting he did. I'm betting that was something that
I never even thought about that. Maybe.
He knew.
I'll have to
He's
ask
bringing
my
him to the
mom.
show, huh?
well, maybe he's the
It's
one
like,
that joins
Dana,
the show
shut
with
your
Morse
mouth.
code.
that's,
Talking about
Well,
because
know.
now I'm trying to remember on the Voices of Contact, did we
Mm.
get a lot of that before Dana was on the show?
Okay, come on.
Or did it
maybe not.
start mainly?
I think
when
you did.
Dana came on?
Did we?
I'll be listening back.
We're gonna
Well,
have
listen
to.
back because I
Yeah.
don't think that
It-
I don't.
It could be that her dad's a listener. Just
Well,
saying.
also, I want to bring up another thing, Dana. President Kennedy, it was no secret that he knew a lot about the UFO situation.
Didn't know that either.
Yeah, he did,
I
and he
Really
big time.
didn't know that.
He was filled in. He was filled in big time, and he wanted to bring disclosure out, and that was probably one of the reasons they took him out. So he probably it
No
might
wonder
have
he
been
didn't
that,
talk about it.
yeah. Well, there was some other things he did that the elite weren't happy with, but and then of course he was the one that said we're going to be on the moon by the end or before the decade's over. So he was really informed of what was going on, and he wanted to bring disclosure out. And he may have told your dad a few things. You never know.
I don't know. And see, it was everything
was-
just to get the stories we got, which is
Yeah.
probably a total of 4.
Well, your dad couldn't say anything because he was told not to. So,
I know,
Right.
but come on.
well,
How much I love that. I love
I know, but
that
he was-
hiding stuff.
he was protecting you guys though, because they would, the first thing they would do was threaten your family. If he came up with stuff, that was top secret.
But
That was top secret.
I don't know. My mom worked for the Naval Department.
Yeah.
So, in fact, we found some top secret stuff that she must have hacked. last year when we were going through some stuff. It's not top secret anymore, I don't think, but it's
Right.
still top secret. I'm like, oh, my mother's a klepto. What are you doing with this? I
Well-
shouldn't even remember why she had it. I'm like, okay, I live in a conspiracy theory with these weird Wisconsin parents. But my dad passed. But
And it's
yeah,
no secret.
I have it
Yeah.
all. All
It's
the
no
pictures.
secret that the Navy is the one that knows more about the secret space programs and all that than any other branch of the military.
Probably my mother, because my mother's always said they're not coming from the sky, they're coming from underneath the water.
Well, that's true. Both. Yeah.
Day
That's
one, she has said that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
she had an experience. So then we moved to Palmyra, where I currently live in Wisconsin. Teeny
Right.
tiny town. I've talked about this many times. And she was coming home from work. She worked out, we'll say 4 miles outside of town at an egg farm, chicken farm, whatever we called it, the egg farm. So she worked in the part where they were putting eggs in cartons and all that business.
Right.
She worked second shift. This is when I was in grade school. So my dad was home or she was home at some point, my growing up, shift wise. And she was coming home from work second shift. So whatever time that is, I have no clue. She's driving my dad's brand new truck. I mean, they literally had gotten it maybe a week or two before this happened. And she was driving home and it goes like literally from this farm straight into the town I live in. It's a straight shot. And there's farm fields on both sides. And she saw a light and was like, what is that? You know, whatever. And the brand new pickup truck completely shut down. Like from A to coasted onto the side of the road, stopped.
Wow.
No rhyme or reason to this. And then she saw this light, but she couldn't figure out what it was. And the next thing, she's like trying to start the car, get back up, car starts, she comes home. And I'm like, but did you have missing time? She doesn't know. And it drives me crazy because like this is like early 80s or late 70s, probably early 80s.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And because before I was in high school, and I think it was before junior high for me that this all went down. And it never happened again. It was a brand new vehicle, like literally off the lot, brand new vehicle. It never happened again. There was no damage to the car that I am aware of, but she doesn't, again, I talked to her about it now. She's 85 now. She doesn't remember talking about this. My sister remembers it. I remember it because, like, how could you forget this?
How old were you?
Probably 9,
Okay.
I'm guessing ish.
Yeah.
My
You were-
sister was 12.
Yeah. You were a young lady.
But old
Wasn't
enough
that
to
long ago.
remember.
But anyway, so I mean, stuff happened. There's lights. You know, we've always seen lights. My son has seen them. We've had weird stuff in this town from the get-go. There's always something that no one can explain or something big that happens that doesn't make the paper, like the ring of fire out in the middle of the woods that one night. The whole fire department's out there. Not a word anywhere. Like, it was a giant ring, literally Johnny Cash ring of fire.
Right.
See it from the road. Rowan came, he's like, be outside, I'm picking you up. I'm like, it's the middle of the night, I'm old, it's like 10 o'clock. I'm like, I'm not going. He's like, be in the driveway. I'm like, fine. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And he took me out there, and sure enough.
Wow.
But there was no media about it.
No media about it, nothing in the police report about it. They'll probably
Now, we brought this up many times, Dana, because the data is there, that you live in a county where the county next to you west
Mhm.
has the most UFO sightings, and I think the one to the east has the most
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot sightings.
Yeah, we're like in the center of, well,
Right.
it's the Southern Union of the Kettle Moraine State Forest. So
Right.
we are,
I want to go there.
where I live is in like a valley.
Yeah.
And I've got state forest on this side, and then you're talking about Whitewater is the other side. The road that you're talking about, so like the UFO sightings business, that county is Walworth, which is where the egg farm is located.
Okay.
Oh,
And you're pretty close to Bray Road.
Yeah.
The dog man was sighted, right? Like a couple miles. Right?
Yeah. Dogman or Beast, the Beast of Bray Road.
Yeah,
Werewolf, whatever you want to say.
right.
Yeah, that's like literally, and that's like the smallest road in the history of man. It's like not a long road. It's very small. But
I'm just trying to point out that you're in an area where a lot
there
of
used to be
stuff goes on.
Sasquatch sightings. One of the classes at the high school here back in the 70s used to skip out. Kids would skip out of school intentionally, go because the kettle marine means there's kettles, which are really deep. Like the landscape here is really high, so that's the moraine. Okay, the kettles are like drums. It goes way down. That's from the glaciers coming through here.
Right.
So that's why it's called the kettle moraine. We're literally in the kettle moraine, so I'm in one of the kettles.
Now, you just told me that there was a Bigfoot sighting not too long ago over there, right?
Yeah, it's happening. You can hear stuff like just a couple years ago. Jenny Laporte.
Yeah.
She was staying here. Went outside real early in the morning, like 5-ish in the morning. And she came running back in, knocking on my door like,
Hey.
I just heard a Bigfoot. And I'm like, okay, you probably did because of where I live, but because that's
it's everywhere.
I just don't talk about it around here, but I think it's been happening forever. And I think the Beast of Bray Road is just another example of that. There was a dogman sighting just outside of town where they used these kids from the high school I was talking about. They would go sit on this one hill and watch a squatch walk up. They'd see it in the middle of the day, cruising up Star Hill, which is just literally on that same road. It's all in the same area.
Now on a
and that made the newspaper here.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Newspaper clip from our local.
Not that ring of fire.
right.
Now on a longitude level, longitude, the lines that go around or not up and down.
The ley line business.
Yeah. Well, just the longitude line.
It's part
degrees. Of it. How in line are you with the Dells? Are they north of you, south of you, or straight across?
Those are north of me.
By how much? What?
Like miles or hours? Because I'm from Wisconsin. We go by time, not miles.
Okay, time.
We do here in Michigan.
Yeah, we don't go by, it's 112 miles. No, it's like an hour and a half from here.
Yeah, and that's not far. That's not far.
We do that.
That's not far.
Yep.
It's a Midwest thing. But so, but the state of Wisconsin in general has stuff because we've got the Great Lakes like you guys in Michigan do.
Yeah.
Lake Michigan is a weird lake. They're all weird. Everything's weird.
The triangle, the Lake
Michigan triangle. Than it gets credit for, I think.
Yeah. The triangle touches Wisconsin and touches Michigan, and a lot of strange things happen in those in that area.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have a lot of, Native American people that their tales they encompass some of this UAP stuff way back.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right.
But calling it different things. So anyway, as growing up, so like I've said this before, again, if other people are listening and I'm repeating myself, just ignore it. But I've even like within the last couple of years, I will wake up and my entire room will be washed out white coming from the outside. Like I can't see. It's like white, and it's very brief that it's enough that I'm going, here it is again. And then I don't remember anything.
Right.
Like I go back to sleep, or they're like, put her down. She's like way unruly. We don't need her awake for this. But
she's a fighter.
She's mouthy. So, there's that too. That stuff's happened. My son has been out just driving around during COVID and stuff like that. He'd stir crazy. He'd just go out driving around and he'd be like, well, there was something over so-and-so's farm again in that field. And I'm like, okay. I had a guy I went to high school with, never believed in any of this stuff. He lives on the other side of the kind of the Beast of Bray Road area. He went out to let his dogs out, looked up because the dogs were like freaked out, and he's like, "What's wrong?" And this giant craft went over his house. It was dead silent. It was triangle shaped, and he was absolutely horrified. He ran in the house, got his wife up, who was a complete skeptic. She saw the tail end of it and still says that he just saw a plane. He just saw a plane. She's hilarious, but I think it's just that I don't want to know. I don't want to know. And then he told me he also saw things because he leaves for work when it's still really dark. So it's like 3:00 in the morning. Right around him in this one particular field, he's seen 2 or 3 different ones just hovering there. So it's not just me or my family. There's people that, and they don't talk about it.
And I want to mention that whiteout thing is, if you're a UFO researcher, that is a common thing with people that happens.
I remember it when I was a kid at our other house too.
Yeah,
I've never not lived in town. I'm living in town, which is, really big. It's not.
Right. Well, I mean, it's a common thing among a lot of people that abductions and UFOs and
over in Eagle, it happened to him.
Yeah.
And they live out in the country, and it happened. The town over from me is called Eagle, Wisconsin. And back when he was in high school, he drew me a picture of it. And his room was whited out first, and there was something over the top of the house.
I'm curious, how high is the elevation in that one place you're talking about, with the kettles and everything else?
I don't know what the elevation. It's not like a mountainous type thing.
Right.
Big hill. Like I think there's literally the trails up the road from me here. There's a big hill. It's a big hill. I think it's called Big Hill.
Right.
It's not
Big hill.
It's not like it's got a fancy Indian name or something. It's
Right.
like, that's a big hill. And it's very difficult to climb it.
Now, are there many mountain ranges in Wisconsin?
No.
Okay, so
We have the driftless area in Wisconsin, the driftless area, which is north of me,
right,
where no glaciers went through, thus driftless.
and my point is that, UFOs, they say that they hide in hills and mountains, high areas. So I mean, that could be why there's a lot of activity there, because that's the only place that they really can hide in there. So that's just an idea.
I have no idea. I just know weird stuff happens here. It's happened here my entire life. I've heard weird stories and read weird stories about like when it rained worms.
Yeah, you said, I remember you talking about that.
I think the early 1900s. It was like the birds were happy, but they were from like Ireland or something.
The fish were happy too.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, yeah, can you imagine those people back then?
No. They would have definitely thought the world was in
Armageddon. Everybody get to church. Yeah. So, but the UAP stuff that happens, I think one of the craziest things is one of my son's friends was out. I think they were in the car. I don't know what they were doing in the car. It was his female friend and a guy friend.
You probably don't want to know, right?
I probably don't want to know. But they caught this giant UAP. There is nothing else this thing could have been. And this was just with when Rowan was still in high school. So you're talking not that long ago.
They caught it on film?
I think I sent it to you guys. It was through, like, you could see like the window, and she was trying to shoot it because it was like right there. I know that Rowan sent it to another Michigan guy. I won't say his name just because I don't know if he'll want me to say his name, but you guys know him, to look at too. Okay. I don't know if you ever heard back from him on it, but I mean, it looks like the same thing that we've seen around here, and crazily like what my guy friend I went to high school with. I'm trying not to use anybody's names because I didn't get permission. It sounded like the one he saw go over his house. was the one that she got on the camera, and it was like a video. It wasn't a still; it was a video of it.
Cigar
So
shaped.
they got real close.
Yeah, cigar shaped or triangle shaped.
Triangle shaped.
Okay.
The cigar shape was strictly my dad. That was
Okay.
that was in the med. In the med.
All right.
That's
And
cool.
then, you know, I've seen stuff. My son has seen quite a bit of that stuff because he's out, you know, I don't like to drive at night. I'm usually doing a podcast or so. I don't know. I'm kidding. I'm not a big night driver because I have a hard time seeing at night.
Right. I get
Whereas he's out all the time at night. So yeah, he's gonna see more because he knows
Right.
to look also, you know. My sister has seen things. I've seen things. My mother and dad saw things. And this is all like within a 25-mile radius. And there's others. There's other people too, and they just don't talk about it around here. A Bigfoot guy just did a talk up at our library. And he got a crowd up there because he's been doing stuff in my area for quite a while. They've got the prints. There was a sighting right, literally 1, 2, maybe two or three blocks up from me.
Oh wow,
There was a sighting
That's close.
in town.
nice.
It's weird. But nobody
Right.
talks about it. So like if I tell my friends from town, I'm like, yeah, there was a sighting. They're like, whatever, Dana. And I'm like, why would I make that up?
So tell us that your son was, if I have the story right, he was cutting grass in the backyard, and he came upon,
The rings?
yeah, the rings.
Yeah, that's another what Rowan is famous for being very understated. So like the burning ring of fire, it was get down in the driveway. I'm coming right now. No is not you can't say no kind of thing. But he's very matter of fact. This was similar. He went out to mow the lawn, and it was pretty long at the time. And he's like, Mom, you need to come down and look at this now. Like, okay. And I have pictures of it. I'm like, I don't know. And people are like, well, there's a type of insect. I go, that makes perfectly concentric circle. I mean, okay. It's an insect.
Ringworm.
Well, I can
It's a
testify.
mantis.
Mantis rings.
I was
You
trying so hard not to say anything.
You were being very good, Mark. I appreciate that.
I was.
But you did send us those photos.
I did.
And, you know, I spent days looking into, what could cause this?
And what did you come up with?
It's not insects.
Thank you.
It's not an earth thing.
Well, there's fairy rings too.
Right. And it was similar to like fairy rings, but yet
It looked kind of
different.
it looked more like something sat there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fairy ring, I've seen fairy rings.
Yeah, I've seen fairy rings. They usually have flowers around them and stuff. Yeah.
Or mushrooms or
Mushrooms.
whatever.
Yeah, mushrooms.
Whatever.
Or they're elevated. This
But this
was
is
more,
like
Like if something came from down the sky and it sat there.
sat there.
Yeah.
Not that I'd want to say it that way because my neighbors will think I'm insane. Not that they don't already, but I mean, it was right there. I didn't do it. You know, I didn't do anything to make that happen. And they didn't come back this year, which is another indicator that
Yeah.
was an insect because that was
Right.
2 years ago. It was a year this past summer ago.
Mhm.
That's true.
And there were like 3 or 4 of them out there.
Yeah.
So I don't
And
know.
during that same time, if I'm remembering right, you had contacted me with some markings on your body.
Yes. I wake up, I get a lot of really weird bruises and stuff. Like I've gotten them. There was a place in Virginia where I had that really weird experience with. That's when I saw the tall white looking in the window.
Yeah.
Ew, don't like that. Anyway, I got stuff there like that. There was a lot of stuff that happened there. That I won't go into that big story, but as far as the marks go, that's been a lot, and I get them between my toes, and it looks like needle marks. And like I told, we had mentioned this before the show started today, that I'm like, I'm not shooting up between my toes. You know, if you're a heroin addict, they will go wherever they can
Yeah.
in,
Oh, they
and
do that, yeah.
the toes is a place. And I mean, trust me, I'm weird enough without drugs. I don't know why that happens, but it looks darker in the center, and then it's a like almost like a large collection of blood versus a bruise. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's more
Like
of
a split pinch, if you pinch yourself, you get a blood clot.
yeah, or like almost a blood blister looking thing
Yeah.
versus a bruise. Like I've had both, and I get them in the crooks of my arms, between my toes, tops of my arms. I'm sure I've had them on my back. When Rowan was younger, he's mother of the year here. He would count scratches on my back because when I wasn't reading, Spirit would let me know I was supposed to be reading, and they would scratch me. It never hurt, but I'd get and he'd always count them. Oh, you've got 26 today. I'm like, oh, I guess I better do something. Poor kid. He never had a chance.
But they're
But I
trying.
don't have anybody looking at my back anymore, so I don't
Yeah.
know. But
Yeah.
I've had them. I want to say I had one behind my ear once. That one was a little unnerving. That was a long time ago, though. But this has been over the course of a lifetime. I would say it's probably accelerated since I started doing more talking about what's happened with this, because I'm a psychic medium. That's what I do. I wasn't really talking much about my UFO stuff because I wasn't sure they were connected until later on, and they are partially connected, as I know now.
I'm going to warn you, once you start talking about it, you don't stop, right? Because it's shining that earth.
Keep knocking on a door, someone's going to answer. You better be ready
Yeah.
for it.
Right.
That's what I tell all my students.
And we're in a time that we're supposed to be talking about it.
Yeah.
It's time to normalize this more so people can talk about it and the truth
The
can
problem
come
is
out.
I'm not as well versed in this as like you guys are, because it's not my forte. This is just a personal experience and things I know are not spirit, and I'm pretty confident I know what they are.
Well, that's why I want to tell you when you say stuff, I want to let you know that a lot of people have experienced the same thing. So you're not alone. It's what you're saying is very true that other people experience. So
Dana, I have a question because I'm curious because you see now how they're connected for you, the contact and your spiritual gifts. So what's the connection?
I think it basically what it came out to me as kind of time went on here is that part of what I do is health screenings on people. So people they call me a medical intuitive or a medical health intuitive, or I don't even like to be called that because it's a separate feeling than like when I do mediumship or when I'm doing my psychic stuff. Mm-hmm. I get stuff on people like it's like from a machine gun. Like, you've got a bad tooth. It's this one, blah, 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 blah. I don't know where that came from. I'm not a dentist. I didn't look in your mouth and see an obvious issue, but it's coming from, it's almost like you're used to getting something from the right here and all of a sudden getting hit from the side. So if I look at a person and do the up and down thing and I'm looking to see what comes up for me, I hear stuff come out of my mouth and I'm like, I shouldn't even be saying that in some respects. I'm very, very cautious of how I present to people because I'm not a doctor and I'm not a nurse and I'm not going to pretend that I'm some kind of medical professional. See your doctors, people. I'm not a doctor. But at the same time, there's been pretty profound things that have happened. Like, I've been very blessed, I guess you'll say. I've gotten message that's actually saved people's lives within a few days that they had no idea, or they didn't know their husband was having this happen. And then he's all of a sudden coded on the kitchen floor. Had I not said something, they wouldn't be here right now. That's not coming from me, though. It's coming from something else. And I don't know why.
It's still pretty amazing, though.
It is, but I don't it's not mine. I'm just the person. It's coming through me to tell somebody. So it's not like Dana's great because she predicted this. That's not what I feel like with it. It's more like, thank you, Jesus, or whoever, whoever you are over here, or up here, because it's not spirit. It's not spirit like we think of as spirit. If you have abilities with spirit, you know what I'm talking about. This is a lot different. And the only thing I can attribute it to really would be them, meaning them. And they might be of the same link. So maybe their spirit, all of it's probably the same thing, but it feels very different to me. If that makes sense.
And,
It does.
Yeah, because I know all the people on our shows, and even Deb too. We all have we have some abilities that we tap into, and they're interested in that. They are. And they
bite
always,
my nails. I'm all nervous. I'm like, I don't see myself normally when I'm talking to people. I got to learn to be more upright. I'm like,
but they're interested in that, and big time, And everybody has the ability. You just everybody doesn't use it, or
very
afraid to use it.
definitely everybody does, but they're
afraid to use it or whatever. They don't want to be bothered with it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's another connection too.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And I always say, do I really want more?
Does it really matter what we want?
No, I guess not. But I mean, it's very fascinating to me when I could look at somebody and I can be like, you've got something growing out in this part of your neck, and within a year, she felt the lump, went to her doctor, and it was a cancer, and she had it removed. But had she waited, she wouldn't.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff that's happened to me like that, where I'm like, thank God I said something, because a lot of the times before I started incorporating that into readings years ago, I didn't do that the whole time I've been working, because I'm not a doctor.
Now you lived in a small.
If you don't say something, especially if it really hits me from the side, like I said, if it really hits me hard, I'm going to tell you. I don't sugarcoat anything at all. I know you'll find that hard to believe, but I don't. And that's the reason why, is because if they're coming at me that hard with something about you or a loved one of yours, I'd rather be wrong and look stupid down the line.
I'd rather have you be blunt about it
than not say anything and have somebody pass away because I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
So, and I do a lot of disclaimer. I tell people before I even start going, if I get something right now, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I'm not going to tell you I am. But if I see something and I really stress it, I would highly recommend a visit to the doctor. I'm not trying to scare people, but wouldn't you rather know than not?
And that's true.
Anyway, that's
You live
me.
in a small
I have
town.
weirdness. 1,700 people.
Okay, so, but you always didn't live in the house you're at right now. But
No, I lived in a subdivision that's like probably about less than a mile from here, maybe not even a mile.
Before the show, didn't you say you had some experiences there as a child?
At my first house here,
Yeah.
when I grew up in, blew up
Yeah, okay.
microwaves, a couple of toasters. No, it was a couple of microwaves and a toaster. That was in like early teens, like TKR stuff, I think, though.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
But,
I
being
didn't
this small-
do it. I didn't like walk by and go. I mean, I wish I had that power. It would come in handy right now. But yeah, it's we had stuff. That was a house that had the washout lights happen. Yeah. That happened a lot there. Oh God, I can't even. This is more of a ghost type thing. Like I kept hearing and I was little. Summer before first grade is when we moved there. And I would hear people in our living room moving furniture, laughing, talking. I'd hear music. like Fate music in the background. And I'd be like, I was like a child insomniac. So I'm like 5 years old, 6 years old. And I'm like, I kept telling my parents, I could hear people in the living room. They're like, go to sleep. Because it's like, I'm up all night as this little tiny, I've always been a sleep disorder person because I couldn't shut off my ears. I kept hearing it. So that's why I sleep with a fan on to this day, because otherwise I'd get no rest. But it kept replaying this same type of thing. And there were other stuff off and on, but years and years later, we're talking when we sold that house to move here, our realtor had grown up in our town. Shocker, I know, because we have so many buildings here. And he was like, oh, I remember when the subdivision was the park years ago back in my childhood. And I'm like, the park? I said, I heard it was a junkyard. They filled it in and built houses. Because we had metal detected our backyard once. We found a car buried back there. Anyway,
wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's like, oh no, before it was a junkyard, it was the park before they moved the park up where it is now. And I'm like, really? He goes, yeah. He's like, right here where your house is, he goes, this is where the band shell was. And they played music here and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, they did, didn't they? I said to my mom, I told you I was hearing people and music and chairs, like chairs sliding, but we had carpet in our living room. And this was like wood on wood. And I was like, and she was like, oh, wish your dad. I go, I wish my dad was still here too, because I'd be like, I told you there was something with you. I was hearing the band shell stuff. That's what I was hearing.
Yeah.
But there was other stuff that I had night terrors, which the doctors said were night terrors or whatever they called it back in the day. And I don't think it was that. And I'll stand 10 toes down when they talk about it. Some people get sleep paralysis. I was having somebody come in there, and I don't care what anybody says. It's I was there. I know.
So do you think that was like human spirit?
No.
Or entities?
But I can tell you
that
that I would do the Lord's Prayer in my head when I was a little kid to try to make it go away, and that was pretty much the only thing that worked. But now as an adult, no, because it was like they'd sit right on the bed and then sit on the edge of the bed, and then it would like lay on top of me, and it felt like all the air was being compressed out of my body.
Right.
One time it felt like I was being pushed right down into the mattress and then pulled back up again. It happened all the way into my 40s. I was still having that happen. It hasn't happened in a long time now. Knock on wood.
I would love to see a regression be done.
I bet you would. That seems to be the...
Just because, wouldn't it be fantastic? You have so many things. Your story is phenomenal. It really is. We were talking before the show when we decided to bring you in on Voices of Contact was about the time.
Which I'm still mystified about. Like, why do they want me on there?
Well, when things start piling up. So you had contacted me and you had these 3 marks on your arm. And
my son's got
that
weird triangle in his head too. It's like scarred and it's a perfect triangle. We showed that to Annie before too.
Right. Well, the one on your arm I felt was some sort of an implant. Remember, it did raise up.
Yeah.
But around that same time, you had the markings show up in your yard.
Oh yeah, I guess it did.
And around that same time, your mom was having some very
that was all the same time. So that's so guys, this is like not even 2 years ago.
Right.
This was last year because she was really sick last year for a long time. And she was having some dandy hallucinations.
But why is
some of them were, but she said their blue UFO is over the house. She kept talking about it. All about the blue UFO, and she was adamant. She's like, I wasn't dreaming. I could see through the roof. Blah, blah. I'm like, great, here we go. Now we had something else to worry about besides everything else that I have to worry about with her. But she had a baby alien thing that was flying around. It was named K-19. and she said that they didn't have the food for this baby and the baby was going to starve, and she was very upset about this, but it was like levitated, and I'm like, so it's kind of a cross between the blue UFO thing. I'm more inclined to believe because those are the things in the yard, the rings in the yard. I don't know about the floated baby. That might be.
You need a regression, seriously.
Right.
The Steely Dan. A19.
So, Mary and Mark, what are your feelings on that? I mean, all this stuff happened at right around the same time. Can you poo-poo what Mom was seeing?
No,
I don't think so. No.
not at all.
It's not connected.
As soon as you were saying like, oh, that you can't say that I'm lying, I can see through the roof, and I'm like, I mean, she probably can. And usually during moments of, a lot of people say, like, you know, people that work in hospice, a lot of them usually say over, you know, the last like so many weeks and stuff, those hallucinogen like moments, they're not hallucinating. Like they are literally experiencing stuff because they're so open. Right. It's just like babies during the time when they're born, they're so open to both sides because they're still trying to fully program and connect to the physical. And usually right before you're about to pass, you're connecting to the other side. So it's kind of working the opposite way. So most people are really experiencing some stuff. Yeah, and all of the things you've said, like all of the dots, like for real, there's so much that I didn't really know. So this was kind of new to me.
Welcome to the world, Mark.
It was a lot. I was like, oh my gosh, like I was excited to hear about it because like there's so much info to unpack there. And when you're like,
unpack from my dad, especially because he had a fascinating life no one knew about.
So cool.
And wouldn't it have been wonderful and helpful to all of society if if it was normal to talk about those things back then?
I know. Right?
My dad was a very quiet man. I don't know where I came from.
I don't know. Your mom has to be.
My mom, not even. She was real quiet too. I mean, I don't know. I'm a fluke. But my dad just never. I didn't know anything about my dad that way until, like I said, I was a junior in high school and had to come home and ask where they were when JFK was assassinated.
Well, part of the military training for Marines is trying to be quiet, you know.
Well, he did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah. But anyway, I'm sure there's a ton of stuff I haven't added in there. It's just because it's been my whole life. My whole life has been this. I mean, literally from the time I can remember, it's been this.
Right.
Flying down the stairs when I was a child. My toes just touching every step with the very, very tip. And I thought it was hilarious when I got to the landing. And my parents would be like, how did you get down the stairs without us hearing it? Because I lived in a very old house in Milwaukee. This is before we even moved here. I remember doing it. I was like, down the stairs of this house, and I thought it was really funny. And I'd get to the landing because it was like stairs, a landing, and then like 4 steps down. And they couldn't ever figure out. I remember my dad was just, how is she getting out of bed, walking around up there, coming down those steps, and we don't hear her because they were sitting right here in the living room. Because I was flying, baby.
You were drinking Red Bull in the crib, man.
Apparently so. Before that was invented. But yeah, it was just weird. And I saw ghosts in that house. I was talking to people in the corners. And
I did a lot of that.
I mean, I've been this way literally my entire life. So to me, it's not a big deal, really. But I know to other people that haven't necessarily had the same life experience, not that they don't have the same ability, just that they didn't have an opportunity to develop it that young. Mm-hmm. They find it fascinating. I think it's like, God, didn't you guys heard that story enough? So I
You've
flew down the
normalized
stairs
it.
and my mom sees alien babies. What's your point?
Well, and it was interesting that she even had a name. She could describe it.
Well, and
Right?
Roland picks on her because he's like, of course it was K-19, like for Karen, because her name's Karen. So it's a Karen Jr.
Funny.
times 19. Like we all need more of that going on right now.
Nice.
Yeah. She just had another dream the other night that was her sister just passed away earlier, like late last week. And she woke up the next day or whatever. And I came downstairs and she said, and she's lucid, she's, you know, and she goes, well, I woke up to the sound of an entire ball game being played in here.
A baseball game?
I said, like baseball? Yeah. The old time announcers and the whole 9 yards. I said, well, maybe that's where Aunt Nadine is. She's at a baseball game. But she'll say stuff like that. She goes, there were a bunch of kids outside the window last night yelling, die, die, die. I'm like, what? There's kids outside the house. So some of it could be hallucinations. Some of it, I don't know. Like Mark said, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who knows?
There's no kids out there yelling, die. Steve and I both are in the concentration camps a lot in dream state. My mom and I have the same dream as different people, but in the same. That's gone on since I was young. So that I think
the possibility she's experiencing a past life too.
maybe.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I believe in that, especially after the concentration camp ones. That I mean, I know what I know. I wasn't. That was the dream, and then she had the same dream, but she was another person there. So were we together there? She was born already because my mom was born in 1940. Well, she was prior to that, and I have no idea.
Well, we talked about this.
Makes
A lot
your
of
brain
souls.
bend.
Yeah, a lot of souls are born in groups. They're all soulmates, and they spend a lot of time together in each lifetime because they were, they were created at the same time to experience these things together. And,
Well, this lifetime's included because she's 85. We've been together a long time.
right, and sometimes you're only together a little while, but it could be very well a lot of people in our circle are soulmates. So
that's true. We probably all had the same discussion, like somewhere along the line.
50 years ago.
Yep.
50 lifetimes.
So it's interesting.
So yeah, I'll be quiet now though because that's a lot. Like,
well, I appreciate you sharing all that.
It almost feels like I'm making it up, and I'm like, but I'm really not. This is like my life. This has been my life from I can remember. So
that's fabulous. Such a good story. Like all of it. Yeah.
I should probably concentrate on one aspect of it sometime and really look into it more. Like with my dad.
Regression.
Damn it.
Yes.
I think it might take more than one regression, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Like
I did have a past life regression once, years and years and years ago. And I had it was 3 pretty profound lifetimes come through.
Yeah.
On that one.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
The soul's energy, energy doesn't die, so it just experiences different things.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, last week on the Voices of Contact, the woman that was on with us who had been regressed has been through how many regressions, Mary?
Quite a few. Yeah. She's come to me several times, so definitely at least 4, at least. But
it's like a work in progress, and the more you do it, the more you learn. And, yeah.
And then it takes a while to unpack it because sometimes it comes in metaphors. Sometimes it comes in within certain messages, and you're sitting there like with like a chalkboard trying to figure it all out. You know, like
I mean,
it takes time.
Rocking in a corner somewhere with a drool bib on. I mean,
it really depends on the experience, you know, honestly, but it also depends on the message behind it too.
True. But are all these things happening at the same time? Are all these lives happening at the same time?
Yeah, they could very well be, or they could be. Because time's an illusion. So it's a very good point. And we could be multiple people in different dimensions and different.
Right. If you dissect the 3D world, our dimensions mathematically, you know, we like part of it, it's, you know, time from the distance of one spot to the other. So there's going to be time in the 3D world, but in the 4D, it's all about time. It's learning about time. It's living in between it. It's living among it. It's being able to control going back or forward, and so on and so forth. All the dimensions represents different things mathematically, and they all have representations. But if you think of lives, you're experiencing all of your lives at once. And if you think of your soul, your oversoul, it's doing all of it's basically connected to all of them. It's like a puppet master holding all of the strings, and all of these strings are all the different lives that you're experiencing, almost in a way. You are connected to all of your lives like an avatar. So they're all happening at the same time. So when you're connecting to another past life, you are connecting to what that soul is doing during that moment. So when you're in dreams, you experience a lot of different things going back and forth from parallel versions of you, or even past or future versions of you. There's a lot happening on that side.
So I'm tired.
No wonder I don't dream as much as I used to the last couple of years.
Well, I think we're getting close to top of the hour, right?
Probably. Listening to Dana's diatribe.
So
it's awesome.
I just get on and start talking about myself.
Well, thanks for sharing, Dana.
Well,
really, and it's profound for everybody.
Yeah.
Well,
everybody have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.